Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines here. BRICS, we've talked about it. Just did a video yesterday on it. But guess what? Now EU countries are looking to join. It's getting serious, ladies and gentlemen. How about this? SEPA, UPI, PIX, and MPP, and the FedNow. FedNow in July, it's bigger than you think. How about this one? A bank with 3 trillion in assets under management, and mentioning XRP, you're going to want to know about it. How about this? John Deaton talking about XRP price and IPO. Oh, you're going to want all of that. And there's a new bill out here that's going to create an equal opportunity for all investors. You're going to love that, and what I've got for you too. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, it's $1.19 trillion market cap for cryptocurrency. The market is up 0.3%. Good morning, everybody. 27,100 plus for Bitcoin, 1905 and change for Ethereum. Tether market cap, 83.1 billion plus. Here we go. XRP 52 cents this morning, up 1.4 on the 24-hour and up 10.8%. on the 7-day. We like hearing that. You're going to like hearing this too. If you're an accredited investor, this is where you get private equity right here. The best place of private equity. It's linkto.com. Click the link underneath the sponsor. And I'm telling you this because there's less than 7,000 shares left. There were over 50,000 shares available yesterday of Ripple private equity. Those SPVs are moving quick, baby. So if you want some, you better get some, because I think it's going to be gone today. Don't fool around. Click the link to the sponsor and check it out for yourself. You got to be accredited. Here we see from going underground here. Breaking: South Africa's ambassador to BRICS says European countries have written formally requesting to join BRICS. European and U.S. hegemony collapsing by the day. That is exactly the way to say it, and it's exactly the way to see it. We're going to keep watching this, but I tell you, this leads us right into this piece of news here. This here from Anders, give him a follow, and Danny Dark as well. The clip here is on a meeting over payments and the last mile, right? And we're hearing from David Schwartz in this. You can see other players in this, like the gentleman here from the BIS, formerly there. We know that this gentleman from the Fed, and this is also another gentleman here, former Ripple advisor, Michael S. Barr, now the VP of the Federal Board of Governors. And listen to this clip, and then we'll get to the rest of it here.
Building a modern, interoperable, international payment and settlement system, RippleNet, based on blockchain technologies. Our ultimate goal we call the Internet of Value, payments as easy as email for enterprises of all sizes and for consumers around the world. Obviously, we're not going to build that all by ourselves. It's an audacious goal. And in 8 years, we've learned a lot about where the challenges are, but also where the opportunities are. The good news, CBDCs can make domestic settlement faster, more reliable, and less costly. And that's important. You can't have good international payments without good domestic settlement. International payments are more important than you might think because they're just so inefficient today. They often simply don't take place. Most emails wouldn't have been sent by postal mail if we didn't have email. The communication simply wouldn't have happened. An enormous amount of valuable commerce simply doesn't happen because international payments are so slow, unreliable, costly, and complex. The opportunity is enormous. There's typically a domestic transfer on each end of any international payment. If those don't work well, the international payment doesn't work well.
Bingo.
And equally importantly, if you imagine an international settlement system with great characteristics like speed, certainty, low failure rates, those benefits won't be seen by the endpoints of the payment unless the domestic components on both ends of the international payment have them too. Countries that don't modernize their domestic systems will not see the benefits of the revolution in payments taking place today pushed to the endpoints in that country. Working to build modern international payments, we've discovered that the biggest obstacle is very often the last hop, getting the funds to the payment recipient through the domestic payment system. But lacking connectivity to consumers, CBDCs won't solve the last mile problem that has made modernizing international payments so difficult. Fortunately, domestic systems are modernizing. SEPA, Singapore, others have very strong domestic systems. The US is implementing FedNow, though that won't be live for another few years. It's important that these payment systems are built on newer technologies that are compatible with each other. At a minimum, they won't be able to confer the benefits of improved international settlement to the payment's originator and recipient if they aren't modernized. At worst, those payments won't work at all.
And there you have it. And, this is exactly what we've been talking about, as Anders says here. And that's an older clip, but nevertheless, it's even more relevant today. And it was Benoit Courier. I couldn't remember his name at the time, working for the BIS. Here we see the Innovation Hub. And this is Anders saying the key seems to be having domestic real-time payment system that operates 24/7, 365, and settles in seconds. And also that there is a wide-scale adoption of that payment system in the domestic economy. Same messaging format, also ISO 20022 to achieve straight-through processing. And you know what? This is really what we're looking at here, is the organization of domestic liquidity. Because as David Schwartz said in there, you really can't do these large value cross-border payments unless you organize that domestic liquidity and be able to get that last hop and get the payment to the actual recipient. And that means you have to organize that domestic payment rails to do that. And that's why I believe we're seeing FedNow launching in July, and EU SEPA, and India's UPI, and Brazil PIX, and Australia's MPP also going through upgrades to their system as well. It is to create these fractional payment zones that will ultimately be updated and able to be interoperable with one another seamlessly, I believe, at some point, with the help and use of something like the XRP ledger and the bridge currency XRP. Now, even more credence to all of this understanding here, which is still a bit speculative, right? HSBC, the largest European-based bank, total assets reference by total assets, which, by the way, those total assets are the tune of $3 trillion. And it calls XRP a game changer here, pointing out the XRP ledger for cross-border payments in groundbreaking acknowledgement. If we get to this right here, one noteworthy example of the document, which I'll show you a clip of here, courtesy of Edro Farino here. One noteworthy example in the document was Ripple blockchain XRP ledger, which HSBC described as being renowned for its real-time cross-border settlements using tokens that represent central bank currencies. HSBC acknowledged the XRP ledger's capability to facilitate instant and secure cross-border transactions, transforming the traditional foreign exchange landscape. HSBC tool processes $250 billion. In emphasizing the magnitude of its operations, the document revealed that HSBC's FX Everywhere tool had already processed over 3 million intercompany foreign exchange transactions, amounting to a staggering $250 billion in its first year alone. By integrating the XRP ledger into their operations, HSBC anticipates significant improvements in cross-border payments, offering customers faster and more cost-effective options. The mention of XRP ledger in such a prominent financial institution's document underscores its increasing recognition and adoption within the traditional banking sector. And I just want to say quickly here, because we're going to look at exactly what Edro Farino brings out here for us. Farina, I should say, excuse me. So understanding what's happening here, when we're looking at all of this, think about where we're going here. You have two ends of this happening. There is the top-down, which we're looking at right now. Top-down adoption, which has been slow, which is why Ripple has had to go back down a tier or two to the remittance world where there's less of a hype bar, right? And they can get that done. Now, that example has gotten done multiple times, and banks have been watching that. Other financial institutions have been watching that success. And we know that there have been pilots and studies and cooperation going on to the likes for years here in the realm of the financial banking sector. That top-down approach is going to pay off when we get the clarity we need. I really do believe that. However, there is another dynamic that's about to kick open here. When you add in the AMMs, the automated market makers, and that every single participant holding XRP can actually lock up their XRP to help facilitate the system, oh my, oh my. Now that's the bottom up, the way I'm seeing that. Not to mention the amount of developers that will flock to the XRP ledger once we get a positive decision in this case to build and incorporate it into their ideas for projects and business models. Now that's the bottom up right there. And I love it because it's not just one scenario that's going to win it all. It's all of it. And legal clarity stands as the logjam in between it. And I think we're very close to having that change. So let's take a look at this. Speaking of a change, John Deaton foresees Ripple IPO within a year post-lawsuit with a $100 billion valuation. Well, I like this, and obviously he's speculating as we all do. We're not going to hold John to anything, but I love his insights. I appreciate all he does, and I love hearing what he's got to say. He doesn't normally speak on this side of things very often, so it's nice to hear his thoughts on this. So in a recent interview, John Deaton expressed his thoughts on growing discussion around Ripple's potential initial public offering, an IPO, as the end of a protracted lawsuit with the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission draws near. Deaton noted that Ripple was on track for an IPO before the lawsuit was filed, and that if the company achieves a complete victory in the case against SEC, an IPO could be expected within the year. Furthermore, Deaton highlighted Ripple's internal valuation estimated at $15 billion when it bought out its Series 3 investors. He noted that this evaluation was based on Ripple's $45 billion XRP token ownership. The lawyer theorized that if XRP reached $2 per token, Ripple's valuation would soar to $100 billion, surpassing the current value of Coinbase, which stands at $15 billion. He also shared his personal belief that Coinbase is undervalued due to the lack of regulatory clarity impacting cryptocurrencies market as a whole. Notably, Deaton's estimation aligns the views of Linda P. Jones, who we had here on this channel, who talked about what she thought would come out of this as well. The financial analyst envisioned a scenario where XRP reaches the previous peak of $359, which would result in a valuation of $150 billion for Ripple's escrowed XRP holdings alone. Take that. And that's what we have to think about. Once we get legal clarity here, Ripple keeps XRP on their books valued at $0. Now, you get clarity, and that is probably not going to be the case anymore after that. So that is something to behold. And then Deaton also speaks about what he thinks about XRP price following the lawsuit. Now, this is a wild-ass guess, so I want to be clear. He's speculating the way we all do. So let's not hold anybody to anything here. Again, it's just refreshing to hear John Deaton speak about these things that he feels strongly about in this. So he shared his insights further, possibly hitting $10 in the wake of concluding suit against this SEC. And he says here, Deaton pondered the behavior of investors who criticized XRP when priced at 48 cents, but would eagerly purchase when value climbs to $1 or higher. I have seen it myself, ladies and gentlemen, in 2017, 2018. He suggested that there might be a fear of missing out, a FOMO, the phenomenon. And he says with that in mind, he proposed that XRP could potentially reach an all-time high, surpassing its mark of $385. However, Deaton clarified that he does not believe XRP will reach triple-digit value, but rather fall within the $2 to $10 range. So that's what we're hearing from John Deaton right there. And you know what? Again, there's no guarantee here from anybody, but I appreciate his insights greatly here. Now let's talk about this very quickly, because this popped out yesterday courtesy of Eleanor Terrett here. Yesterday, the House passed the Equal Opportunity for All Investors Act of 2023. This would allow people to be considered accredited investors if they take and pass an SEC government-approved test. Now, how hard is the test? I don't know. But what I can tell you is that this is exciting to me because there shouldn't even be a limit for accredited investors. That rule is to keep people out, and it's horrible that they have it in place. So if it passes it's passed the House, it goes to the Senate. If it passes the Senate, then it goes to the president's desk to be signed into law. That would be incredible, because then it's just a matter of taking the test. Or I can tell you this, as you hear me talk about, the Digital Perspective Mastermind Group has incredible news. And I can only tell you so much. But I can tell you, not only is this the learning curve to get your time back in your life and still keep up with the market and have incredible access to an amazing community, get private weekly live streams, groups and lessons and the rest of it, but we are also currently working on creating a private equity opportunity for non-accredited investors that do not have to take a test. But you're going to have to join the group, take advantage of the special offer we have right now, invest in yourself, and become an annual member and get access to that private equity opportunity that we are working on putting in place right now. And you can learn more about that inside the group, because I can't discuss any further than that level right there. Now let's look at price before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen. The bounce. Hold the line is still in play here, ladies and gentlemen, and that line is right here. Shout out to Agrad Crypto. Heading to 55 cents. As you know, we are currently up 10.8% at 52 cents. Above that, the conviction is key for bullish continuation. So 55 to 58 cents. If we get above those, we get a bullish continuation is what we're looking at potentially here. So not financial advice from me, him, or anyone else, but make that investment in yourself and join the DPMG. Take advantage of that special offer we have right now. Invest in yourself. You will not be sorry that you did. All right, that's going to do it for me. I'll catch all of you on the next one.